Did Adidas just release the new most comfortable shoe? This is the Adidas HyperBoost Edge, and apparently it's the replacement for the iconic Adidas UltraBoost. But will it live up to the hype? And is it Adidas' new most comfortable shoe, or just the new most comfortable shoe in general? Let's find out. I've been looking forward to this shoe for months. Ever since I first saw images of it, I was like, that's kind of wild. And then hearing that it was supposed to replace the UltraBoost as the new Max Cushion or one of their Max Cushion daily trainers, I was like, yo, this could be something crazy. And the good news is, it doesn't totally disappoint. I say totally because in some ways it does kind of disappoint, but for the important parts, it's pretty nice. So this shoe just released stateside for a retail price of $200, which firmly places it in like the premium Max Cushion running sneaker category. And $200 is not something that I enjoy paying for pairs of sneakers. I do it a lot, but I don't enjoy doing it. The good news was I had a bunch of saved up points on Adidas' website, so I was actually able to get this for like $143 with my points, or like 25% off or something like that, which made this a much more palatable purchase. And for that price, I mean, this shoe is awesome. Now, to be fair, if you want to grab a pair of these, either grab them through the Adidas app or grab them through the affiliate links in the description below or through the YouTube shopping tab on your screen. Buying anything through those links will kick back a little bit to the channel, which is a nice plus, and you get a pair of shoes, which is very, very comfortable. But as you can tell from the box and just the fact that this is a bright red and white shoe, it seems like the hero color for this new shoe is red, which is a good thing. I like red. It's my favorite color, so I'm not mad at that. But even with that, I still don't think it's the prettiest shoe in the world. And if this shoe is replacing something as iconic as the UltraBoost, it's gotta look good. Now, to be fair, I don't think that Adidas is cutting off the UltraBoost 1.0. I think that shoe will remain as a lifestyle sneaker. I think this shoe sort of replaces the outgoing, older Adidas UltraBoost Lights and some of the other very modern performance running sneakers that, to be honest, I don't think have been performing that well for Adidas. I could be wrong, but just based on what I've been seeing on the sale racks, that would be my guess. But actually, speaking of that, I've been really disappointed with all of the newer UltraBoost sneakers. Now, I run very casually. It's not something that I do every day. I do it here and there, and I don't ever find myself really gravitating towards UltraBoost sneakers. It's always the Evo SL or the New Balance Rebel V5, or maybe a Max Cushion shoe, something like the Exmore V5s or even the New Balance 1080 V15s. I'm a slower runner. I like having those basic everyday cushioned running shoes. That's just what I'm into. And for a long time, I haven't been impressed by anything really Boost related. It's always been kind of like, it's more of the same. It's stiffer than it should be. I don't know. It's just not as soft as I remember Boost being. Those are all thoughts that are running through my head whenever I'm wearing a Boost shoe. And so I always thought that Boost was just something that was kind of dying out, that they were moving on to more light strike foams and some of their softer, more race day focused foams into their lifestyle sneakers, stuff like the Evo SL has. But it turns out the entire time in the background, Adidas has been working on a new Boost formulation called HyperBoost Pro. And essentially what this foam is a softer, lighter version of Boost. And so before I got a chance to actually get these shoes on my feet, I built up this idea of how soft this shoe could be and how good it could feel underfoot. And the good news is, it's very, very soft. It definitely stacks up both in the literal stack height, but also in comfort to a lot of the other modern Max Cushion sneakers out there. Things like the Nike Vomero Pluses and shoes like the New Balance 1080 V15s. This is a very soft shoe. But like I said before, it's not perfect. And why don't we start off this review by talking about the part of the shoe that I like the least, and that's the upper. So the upper of the shoe apparently is made up of this new technology called Prime Weave, which is their new, I guess, Prime Knit successor. And while the name Prime Weave sounds similar to Prime Knit, it doesn't feel like Prime Knit. In fact, it feels like a pretty standard engineered mesh. It's not really soft or stretchy like the original Prime Knit. It's much more like a thicker version of what you've got in the Evo SL. And in some ways, that's a good thing, because if you remember in the original UltraBoost, the original Prime Knit on the 1.0s, and honestly more so the 2.0s and 3.0s, it was very soft and stretchy, which was amazing for lifestyle wear, but when you actually ran in the shoe, it could be a little unsupportive. It never really locked you in. You had those sort of like TPU midfoot cages, which kind of kept you on the footbed of the shoe, but the material itself kind of felt like flimsy, not flimsy, but it didn't ever like contain your foot. After running in this Prime Weave, I can tell you, it contains your foot, but it's not soft. There might be something about it that's new or techie or interesting that Adidas put in that maybe makes it, the first of its kind or whatever. I don't know if that's the case. I'm just kind of guessing based on things that you see sneaker brands say about their new engineered meshes. But from my experience, it's nothing special. It's also not very breathable either. I mean, it's more breathable than something like a Jordan, but compared to previous Prime Knit materials, it's not really that breathable. Even compared to Nike's Flyknit, it's not that breathable. It's just a pretty tightly knit engineered mesh that really doesn't have much airflow. I mean, you can see through it. It's thin, so there is some airflow, but it's not a lot. Now, it does seem like in the higher wear areas of the shoe, and possibly also to cover up some seams between the different engineered mesh colors, like you've got white on the toe and then red on the side of the sneaker, they have these fuse overlays, which obviously wraps around the toe of the sneaker, which is a higher wear area of the shoe, and they also use it to support the eye stays of the sneaker as well. It seems like the laces actually weave through these sort of internal nylon loops, which are fine. I will say that getting your foot into the shoe is not the easiest task. It can be a bit of a tighter fit, especially because the upper doesn't have as much give as maybe you would like, and the laces obviously being on the bottom part of the material, it doesn't allow them to pull as easily. But overall, I mean, it's fine. I've heard multiple multiple people online complain about that same issue, so it's nice to know that I'm not the only person having that issue. It's not just me being an idiot, not being able to get my shoes on. It seems like it's more of a shoe thing than anything else. Once you loosen up the laces though, it does start to figure itself out, but you can see on the back of the heel right here, let me see if I can get that in focus for you. Right there's that crease, and that's because whenever I try to slide my foot in, I catch this, and then like I can't just won't jam in, so it's kind of a pain in the butt. But eventually you get in there and you're locked in. Of course, being designed to be a running sneaker, there are some reflective hits to allow you to kind of run at night. Now to be fair, they are kind of few and far between. You've got one around the tongue cut out right there, and then one on the toe of the sneaker. I don't see any on the heel, which is odd. Usually I'd expect it to be on the heel. Maybe this area right here is reflective. I don't know. I don't think so. I think it really is just those two parts. But for a running sneaker, it's nice to have more visibility, so that's why running sneakers in a lot of cases are so bright. Actually, I think that whole upper part right there is reflective. So you've got a whole line of reflective lines, which does help. They also seem like they add some more stability to the bottom half of the upper, which I guess is a good thing. It's already you're already pretty locked in there, so I don't know how much more lateral stability you need, but you get it. The tongue itself is pretty thin. You've got this nice padded pillow at the top, really on the top of the tongue and not so much on the bottom of the tongue, so you don't feel it as much, but it's nice when you kind of pull the shoe onto your foot. It is a gusseted tongue, so if you're wondering if the top of the tongue is gonna flip out while you're running or while you're putting it on, it won't. It's just gonna stay in place, which is a plus. Inside the shoe, the sock liner is pretty thin, relatively minimal, especially around the ankle area, less than I would like. However, you do have these ankle pillows, these nice bright red ankle pillows, which actually do sit right beneath your ankle and feel pretty nice and prevent any kind of rubbing against my ankle. At least I didn't find there to be any, and it felt really, really good. And I will say that this is something that Adidas has done before, but I always appreciate it when they do it. It always feels really, really good. The insole is pretty minimal. It's just this thin sort of foam midsole. But the reason for that is because your foot is basically right on top of the boost in the midsole. So this insole doesn't want to be too thick, so you can actually feel the boost underneath your foot, which I can tell you, you do feel. And that's the whole point of this shoe. It's a max cushion daily trainer made mainly for recovery runs or easy runs or slower runs or just max overall cushion. So you want that. We'll talk about how it actually feels underfoot in a little bit, but I will say that thin insole doesn't really bother me for that reason. Now, as far as sizing and fit goes, the good news is the shoe does fit true to size, so it's the kind of shoe that you can buy in your regular size, be good to go. I always go with the size 9 whenever I can. Sometimes in the more hyped up sneakers, I can't. But for shoes like this that are not hyped, they're more of just like a new technology sneaker, I always go true to size, and in this case, serves me well. The back of the shoe has this sort of 3D HyperBoost edge text, which is kind of a nice touch. There's no pull tab, but you do get the text, so if you forget what shoe you're wearing, look at the back of the shoe. Oh, HyperBoost edge. That's a dumb joke. Every shoe has the name of the shoe on it. I don't know why I made that joke. The outsole of the shoe is another place where the shoe differs pretty heavily from the original UltraBoost and really any of the other recent UltraBoosts. It's not a continental rubber outsole. Instead, it's this light traction outsole. It's spelled Traxion. I don't know why I'm laughing. It's not funny. It's just a different way of spelling traction, I guess. But I will say, from my relatively limited experience wearing this shoe in different conditions, it's been pretty decent. You've got these lines essentially acting as a traction pattern. It's not like herringbone or anything specific. They're also not super tall, but generally, I think for running on the road or walking around daily lifestyle wear, it seems fine. I did sort of simulate a rainy experience. It didn't rain when I had these shoes, but I did stand in some puddles or run through some puddles and then kind of, it doesn't matter what I did. It wasn't pretty, but I was just trying to make it seem like it was raining. They seemed fine there until I actually get a chance to wear this for like an extended period of time. I don't know if I can really speak to the overall traction, but I will say it's not like extraordinary, but it's not bad. According to Adidas, it's designed to be grippy and lightweight, and it seems like they have kind of hit that. One kind of cool detail that I like on the bottom of the shoe is that you've got the stack height in the center of the midfoot. You've got 45 millimeters on the heel and then 39 millimeters on the toe of the shoe. So in case you're ever wondering what a stack height is, it's the height from the bottom of the shoe to the top of the midsole. That's sort of the stack that you're standing on. Before I answer the question how comfortable this shoe is, we first should talk about how this shoe looks. And I personally think it's fine. I don't love it, I'll say that. Now, one detail that Adidas has specifically called out is that they moved the 3 stripes down to the midsole, specifically to, I guess, draw eyes to the new HyperBoost Pro. It's fine. I don't love how it's like straight lines up against this sort of curvy line. It's kind of a weird look. But personally, I don't like this oversimplistic white and red look of the shoe. I think it's okay. For running sneakers, you don't have to go like full on retro running style, but at least give us something on the upper. I really think that the 3 stripes would have looked better on the upper. It would have made the upper of the shoe less boring, less plain. I think it may be a colorway that's all one color, maybe not as like ambulance looking. Maybe it won't be. I'm not trying to like say the shoe sucks, because it doesn't suck. Like I'm not trying to hate on anyone who maybe designed this shoe that's watching this video. Shout out to you. You guys are killing it. I will say though that for my own personal preferences, this is not my favorite aesthetic. I don't see myself wearing this like super casually as a shoe that I'm like stepping out to look good in. You know what I mean? This is the kind of shoe that I wear to the store that I'm like, I want the most comfortable shoe that I can wear. I'm gonna grab the Adidas. I'm gonna grab the HyperBoost Elite. No, HyperBoost Extra. HyperBoost what? Edge. Man, this name. I don't know what it is about max cushion sneakers, but they never look that good. Like you look at the New Balance Exmor V5, you look at the Vomero Premium, the Vomero Plus is actually a pretty good looking shoe. I actually think they did a great job on that design wise. Most other max cushion sneakers though are just very, very like, they're just very dull, they're just very boring, they just don't have really much excitement other than the fact that they feel soft underfoot. And you look at what sells like incredibly well for Skechers, those cheap, like super comfortable shoes that grandparents wear. I'm not saying all Skechers shoes are like that, I'm saying the ones that like sell like crazy at Walmarts. They all kind of look like this. So there is something to be said about the sort of unobtrusive, unoffensive looking sneaker, and I get it, it's just not for me. If I had to give it a letter grade, I'd give it a C. But again, maybe the colorways could change that. If it came in like a all tan or an all olive green or something, it still wouldn't be my favorite, but I think I would like it more. But let me know what you guys think of the design in the comment section down below. But now let's talk about the part of the shoe that everyone wants to know about, and that is the underfoot comfort. How does this shoe feel? And I've got to say, it feels great. It feels super, super soft. This is probably the softest non-marathon specific running sneaker that Adidas makes. I can't think of one other Adidas shoe that is this soft or plush or well cushioned, again, other than some of those like ultralight marathon sneakers, which are like $400 that are not designed to be worn on a daily basis. For regular consumers, this is the softest shoe that Adidas makes, in my opinion, by far. The Evo SL is a great shoe. It's super soft underfoot, but this just like, this is in a different league. This is definitely more of the Nike Vomero Plus style cushion or the Exmore V5s from New Balance. It's in that sort of league. And a shoe like the Evo SL, which is one of Adidas's by far most popular sneakers, is great because it's sort of that versatile everyday runner. It's much closer to, I would say, the New Balance Rebel V5s. They feature a super soft, super squishy midsole foam, but it's a lower stack height, and the shoe is made to be more of a daily trainer. It's not meant to be like a super max cushion shoe, although it is definitely on the softer end of the daily trainers. This is a max cushion shoe through and through. However, where the shoe kind of falls apart is the upper. It's not breathable, it's not super soft. You do get these cushion pods, I think is what they're officially called, on the ankle, which are nice, but the upper itself, I find to be lacking. The good news is though, is that this HyperBoost Pro is a material that will definitely be used in upcoming Adidas sneakers. It's not just reserved for this shoe. While yes, it is primarily only on this shoe at the minute, because this is sort of the hero HyperBoost shoe, it's gonna be something that we're gonna see show up on other shoes. So that is a plus. Now I do wanna compare the softness of this shoe to some other shoes on the market that you guys may or may not have tried. Let's start things off with the Nike Vomero Plus. Now this is a shoe that I would say feels the most like the Adidas HyperBoost. The stack height is a little bit lower, but it does feel about the same amount of softness, and honestly, maybe even a bit softer. So that right there should answer your question, is this the most comfortable shoe on the market? In my opinion, no. I think the Vomero Plus already has it beat. Now if you wanna go even farther and talk about the Vomero Premium, this shoe is definitely the plushest and softest shoe that I think I've ever put on my feet, again, from sort of a consumer level. The upper of the shoe also is better than the Adidas. It's more breathable, it's thinner, it's more flexible, it's lighter weight. The padding I think is better around the ankle area. But in my opinion, I think the best comp to this shoe is probably the Nike Vomero Plus. Let me know in the comment section down below if you agree. So is this the most comfortable shoe on the market? In my opinion, not really. If you're looking for a max cushion trainer from Adidas that feels good when you're running, that does contain your foot well, you're not gonna be sliding around in the upper of the shoe, and provides a lot of really, really soft cushion with some bounciness, then this is a great way to go. And again, I'm very excited about the future of HyperBoost Pro. I think it's a really cool technology that levels up Boost. I just don't know if the HyperBoost Edge is the shoe that I find myself wearing on a daily basis. It's not the prettiest, it's not the softest, it's also definitely not cheap at $200. I'm sure these will eventually drop in price on the sale racks, but again, very promising technology, just not the best max cushion shoe that you can buy. In my opinion, it's a very interesting and solid max cushion running sneaker, but it's not the kind of lifestyle sneaker that I wanna throw on all the time. But hey, with that being said, let me know your thoughts on the HyperBoost Edge in the comment section down below. As always, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't yet, and I'll see you all in the next one.